The U.S. House of Representatives recently passed a bill with a clear message for TikTok owner ByteDance. This bill, echoing through the halls of Congress with a resounding vote, is a stark ultimatum. ByteDance must divest from TikTok within 165 days or face a total ban in the United States. The House didn't hold back in making its decision. The vote was a landslide, with 352 Congress members giving a yes and just 65 a no. This clear-cut majority speaks volumes on the prevailing sentiments surrounding the China-based company and its popular social media platform. This bill didn't just appear out of the blue. It was fast-tracked to a vote after receiving unanimous approval from a committee the previous week. The speed and determination with which the bill has been pushed forward highlight the urgency Congress feels in addressing the issues it presents. The bill's mandate is straightforward. If ByteDance does not divest from TikTok within the set period, app stores, including the likes of the Apple App Store and Google Play, would be legally barred from hosting TikTok or providing web hosting services to ByteDance-controlled applications. This isn't just a slap on the wrist, it's a potential knockout punch. But what happens if ByteDance does not heed the warning? What if they choose not to divest? The answer is simple and severe. TikTok, a platform beloved by millions, could disappear from the digital landscape in the United States. If this bill becomes law, ByteDance would face the stark reality of a total ban. The passage of this bill represents a concrete threat to TikTok, a platform that has found itself in the crosshairs of an ongoing political battle over allegations of data collection and content censorship. Despite TikTok's assurances that it has not and would not share U.S. user data with the Chinese government, the House has made its stance clear. Indeed, the governmental gears are turning, and ByteDance finds itself in the crosshairs. But to fully understand the implications of this bill, we must rewind a bit. TikTok, the viral social media platform, has been embroiled in a political tug-of-war for quite some time now. The heart of the issue? Allegations that TikTok, owned by China-based ByteDance, could potentially collect sensitive user data and engage in political censorship. TikTok, however, has persistently and vehemently refuted these allegations. The platform has assured its users time and again that it has not and would not share U.S. user data with the Chinese government. But these assurances haven't always been enough to quell the concerns of critics. This isn't the first time a ban on TikTok has been on the table. In fact, former President Donald Trump attempted to ban TikTok back in 2020. Fast forward a few years, and the state of Montana also tried to impose a ban in 2023. But in both these instances, the bans were blocked by courts on the grounds of First Amendment violations. Interestingly, Trump, now an ex-president, has since changed his tune and currently opposes a ban on TikTok. In March 2023, the Treasury-led Committee on Foreign Investment in the United States, or CFIUS, demanded that ByteDance sell their TikTok shares or face the possibility of the app being banned. But despite this ultimatum, no action has been taken. So here we are now, with the House of Representatives passing a bill that would require ByteDance to divest from TikTok within 165 days or risk a total ban in the United States. This bill represents the most concrete threat to TikTok yet in this ongoing political saga. Despite these challenges, TikTok has managed to thrive, boasting a staggering 170 million users in the U.S. alone. But this new bill, if it becomes law, could change the game. It could potentially alter the landscape of social media as we know it, affecting millions of users and shaking up the industry in unprecedented ways. So, what might this mean for TikTok, ByteDance, and the app's millions of users? Let's talk implications. If this bill passes the Senate and gets the presidential signature, the clock would start ticking for ByteDance. They would have 165 days to comply, to divest from TikTok. This means they'd have to sell their stakes in the social media platform. If ByteDance fails to do this, the outcome could be cataclysmic for TikTok. The bill stipulates that app stores, think Apple App Store and Google Play, would be legally barred from hosting TikTok. This would essentially wipe TikTok off the digital map in the United States. No new downloads, no updates. The app, as we know it, would cease to exist for American users. But it's not just TikTok and ByteDance that would feel the tremors of this legislative earthquake. Consider the ramifications for the app's vast user base. TikTok boasts a whopping 170 million users in the United States alone. That's 170 million people who could lose a platform that they use for entertainment, creativity, and connection. And let's not forget the economic implications. TikTok has become a key revenue source for countless creators, influencers, and businesses. A ban or forced sale could disrupt the livelihoods of many who rely on the platform for income. On the flip side, though, this could open the door for new platforms to rise in popularity. If TikTok were to disappear from app stores, users might flock to alternative platforms. This could shake up the social media landscape and give rise to new trends and opportunities. In a broader perspective, this bill symbolizes a shift in how governments are addressing concerns about foreign influence and data privacy. If it becomes law, it could set a precedent for how other foreign-owned social media platforms are treated in the future. The stakes, it seems, have never been higher for TikTok. However, the bill is not without its detractors. While it has received overwhelming support in the House, its journey in the Senate may be more tumultuous, with opposition arising from unexpected quarters. Some Senate Democrats have voiced their concerns, not so much about TikTok, but about the broader implications of such a bill. Senator Elizabeth Warren, for instance, has publicly opposed the bill, citing concerns over freedom of speech. She argues that while curbs on social media are necessary, they need to be applied evenly across the board. In her view, targeting TikTok specifically could set a dangerous precedent. There's a need for curbs on social media, but we need those curbs to apply across the board, she said. Her sentiment echoes a larger concern about the future of free speech in the era of digital communication. Democratic Senator Mark Warner, who previously proposed a separate bill to empower the White House over TikTok, has also expressed reservations. He has voiced some concerns about the constitutionality of an approach that names specific companies, suggesting that the bill's focus on TikTok could potentially run afoul of the Constitution. Yet, he isn't dismissing the bill outright. Instead, he is committed to taking a close look at this bill, indicating that he is open to negotiation and discussion. The opposition isn't just worried about the potential infringement on free speech. They also have concerns about the broader implications of the bill on the regulation of social media. They argue that addressing foreign influence across social media platforms requires a more comprehensive approach rather than targeting a single platform. Despite these concerns, the bill has already made it through the House, setting the stage for a showdown in the Senate. The question now is whether the bill can garner enough support to pass through the Senate, or if the opposition's concerns will prove too significant to ignore. So as we move forward, one thing is clear. In the Senate, the bill's future looks uncertain. Meanwhile, the White House has thrown its weight behind the legislation. The administration, led by the press secretary Karine Jean-Pierre, expressed its support for the bill and its objectives. Jean-Pierre made it clear that the administration is keen to see the bill progress, stating their desire to see this bill get done so it can get to the president's desk. The White House's backing of the bill is significant. It underscores the administration's stance on the broader issue of foreign influence in social media platforms, particularly ones owned by China-based companies like ByteDance. It also reflects the administration's concern for national security, considering the potential risks that these platforms could pose. While the White House has not directly addressed the criticisms raised by some Senate Democrats, its support for the bill suggests a willingness to tread on the side of caution when it comes to potential threats to national security. This is not to say that they are disregarding the concerns about freedom of speech. Instead, it seems they are viewing the bill as a necessary step to ensure that any potential misuse of user data for political ends is avoided. The White House's stance on the bill might be seen as a continuation of the previous administration's efforts to address the same concerns. However, unlike the attempted ban by Donald Trump in 2020, this bill is not an outright ban. It offers ByteDance an opportunity to sell TikTok and avoid being blocked in the United States. This approach is seen by the bill's authors, Representative Mike Gallagher and Representative Raja Krishnamoorthi, as a more balanced and fair way to address the concerns without outright banning the platform. As Gallagher put it, this is not a ban, but a surgery designed to remove the tumor and save the patient in the process. The administration's support provides a significant boost to the bill's proponents. It solidifies the position of those advocating for the bill and adds a layer of authority to their arguments. Whether or not the bill will eventually become law, the White House's stance sends a clear message about its priorities when it comes to protecting national security and preserving the integrity of social media platforms. The architects of this bill believe they are addressing valid national security concerns. This legislation is not the brainchild of a single influencer, but rather the collective effort of dedicated lawmakers who see a potential threat in the continued operation of TikTok under ByteDance, a China-based company. Leading the charge are Representative Mike Gallagher, the Republican chairman of the House Select China Committee, and Representative Raja Krishnamoorthi, the panel's top Democrat. They argue that this bill is not a straight-up ban, but rather a surgical procedure to excise the malignant growth of national security threats. In their eyes, the bill is a stern warning to ByteDance, giving them a window of 165 days to divest from TikTok. If they comply, the app can continue to exist in the United States, sans any undue influence from foreign entities. Mike Gallagher has even gone on record stating, TikTok could live on, and people could do whatever they want on it, provided there is that separation. The representatives believe that the legislation is an opportunity for ByteDance to sell TikTok and thereby avoid being blocked in the US. This, they argue, is not a ban, but a chance for the company to make a strategic decision that would preserve the app's availability to its 170 million users in the United States. However, it's not just about selling the app. The legislation's authors emphasize the importance of removing potential threats to national security. Their concern is rooted in allegations that TikTok could collect sensitive user data and politically censor content. This, they argue, is a matter of national security that requires immediate attention and action. Despite the authors' assertions that the bill is not a ban but a protective measure, critics argue that it infringes on freedom of speech and targets specific companies, raising questions about its constitutionality. But TikTok sees things quite differently. The social media giant perceives this legislation as a direct threat to its existence in the United States, a preordained ban that could strip 170 million Americans of their right to use the platform. The stage is set for a clash of perspectives on one of the most widely used social media platforms. In the face of this legislative storm, TikTok has come out swinging. The social media giant, with its 170 million American users, has been bold in expressing its views on the bill. TikTok firmly believes that the bill, if passed, equates to an outright ban on their platform in the United States, and they're not holding back their concerns. TikTok's argument hinges on the premise that the legislation has a predetermined outcome, which is nothing short of a total ban. The company has expressed its worries about the potential effects of the bill on the rights of American citizens, particularly their constitutional right to free expression. They argue that the government is attempting to strip this right from the millions of Americans who use and enjoy TikTok. Adding fuel to their concerns, TikTok has voiced doubts about the feasibility of divesting from the platform within the given 165-day window. They've pointed out that it's unclear whether China, where ByteDance is based, would even approve any proposed sale. This uncertainty raises questions about the viability of the bill's key provision and the future of TikTok in the US. TikTok's response is not just about defending their business. It's about standing up for their users, the creators, and the communities that have been built on their platform. They're fighting for the right of these individuals to express themselves and connect with others. TikTok has become a space where people can share their creativity, their ideas, and their voices. And it's these voices that TikTok is striving to protect. The company's stance is clear. They believe this bill infringes upon the rights of millions of Americans and poses a threat to the vibrant community that has been cultivated on TikTok. They've made it clear that they're ready to fight for their platform and their users. Despite the looming threat of a ban, TikTok is standing its ground. With 170 million users in the US, TikTok isn't going down without a fight. This is more than just a battle over data privacy and national security. It's a fight for the right to expression, for the right to create, and for the right to connect. And TikTok is in the ring, gloves on, ready for the fight. As we look to the horizon, the future of TikTok in the US hangs in the balance. ByteDance now faces a crucial decision: to sell or not to sell. They are left with 165 days to divest from TikTok or face the consequences. Will they comply or will they fight back? Meanwhile, the Senate's decision is still up in the air, with some Democrats expressing concerns about freedom of speech. The question remains, will the bill pass the Senate or will it be modified to address concerns of foreign influence across all social media platforms? And let's not forget the 170 million TikTok users in the US who could potentially find themselves cut off from the platform. Will they simply migrate to other platforms, or will they protest against the decision? Only time will tell what lies ahead for TikTok, but one thing is clear: the world is watching.